having missed the opening of section due to our involvement with the African Parliamentarian Network on illicit commercial case on concession. Today, I would like to briefly speak issues affecting the people of Rivers County. I'm listening to Senator Songwe, the chair of our caucus. He spoke on a lot of issues regarding River County, of which I won't take our time to go further, but yet to emphasize. We try to emphasize on the issue of the Burkinabe's infiltration into River County, especially the bullet points. We are aware that the Land Authority, along with the immigration services, have been engaged with the process, but we think we need to do more. More to the extent that the present actually causing chaos for our people. And part of the way we can address some of these issues, not just only making sure that they are being documented, but you want to know that indeed their presence is hugely involved with agriculture and at some point in time mining. And as they are involved with agriculture, there are a lot of conflict in terms of encroachment on familiar land. There are some towns and villages that are in dispute because they have to give out huge land to these Burkinabes, which overlap with other towns and villages. We want to ask this Senate to revisit the Land Right Act of 2018. In that act, there's a provision that calls for the legislature providing support for the survey of all tribal land. That should have been done within 2 years of the passage of that act. And this legislature needs to enforce that in the coming budget. We believe that will help gradually, and the Land Authority needs to work in a way that it can be cost effective so that our people can own the land. We also need to start taking a step to ensuring that our people have the 5% share in licenses that are being issued in this area. We are concerned about that because we believe that should we give our people their land and the surveys are done, we'll try to solve some of the land dispute in the leeward counties. We've also been engaged by complaining of constant reduction in the salaries of local government officials, to the extent that those who were making a certain amount before 2024 are making far below in this government. This is something that I believe the Committee on Internal Affairs will have to look into. It is concerning. We want to emphasize on the issue of compliance to concession. While it is true that River County does not have a functioning concession, but we are sure, because we had before sharing with Grand County, we believe that someday Putu will resurrect. That is why we take key interest on the issue of Asala Meta, on the issue of Bee Mountain and other concessions, because we believe that it is going to affect us if we don't support our colleagues in their endeavor. We want to ask this Honorable Senate, it will be important for us now to take steps in ensuring that we establish a Senate Secretariat or a Joint Secretariat in the legislature that will be squarely responsible for full compliance of this concession and all other contracts, incentive given out there. Should we depend on the National Bureau of Concession? They are performing executive function. But our oversight function will be more effective should we establish a secretariat of the legislature enacted by law for full compliance. These entities have to be rated. They have to be publicly rated on things to do, local content, local content issue, the issue of giving out contracts to Liberians. We're going to be concerned about that. Also, Honorable Presiding, distinguished Senator, let me say here that before we went on our break, a communication was addressed on this floor regarding the implementation of the budget law that called for the 25% procurement, minimum procurement for Liberian businesses. That communication was sent to the PDCC, and we think this sitting, we need to address that. Liberian businesses need to be supported. Mr. President of the Senate, distinguished Senator, let me just say clearly, while it is true that my communication was not read, but in that communication, you have set a precedent that ministers will tell you they cannot come before you because the president did not approve of the coming. But Director General will come before you and tell you they cannot come before you because their board did not approve, because it is one of the reasons stated in the law, in the board resolution for which Dugbe Federal Young was dismissed. The Bar President take note. Thank you very much.
Amara Collins.
Rescue man, leader man. If I'm not slow help, will not be here. Rescue man. I rescue man, you're going to call your phone raising up again. Let me keep him for you. Oh, that's it. You're not too happy, but you rescue man, and you know I know.
Thank you, Mr. President of the Senate, distinguished colleagues. I'm happy to be back to work, even though I didn't expect to be on crutches. But I was misdiagnosed when I got hurt, that my leg was sprained instead of broken. So as we return for this last sitting, I want to reaffirm my commitment to all of you, my colleagues, to advancing the reform agenda of the Senate, the government, particularly on strengthening accountability, modernizing our institutions, protecting our citizens, and providing them with the enabling environment to thrive. Liberia cannot afford to continue with business, quote, business as usual, end quote, like the president told us in his inaugural address. Too many public-private partnerships operate in our country without due process and proper guidance. Too many public, private, and civil society organizations in our country have failed due to poor corporate governance. Too many families endure preventable deaths and injuries from healthcare providers without accountability. And we have seen a concerning rise in attacks on our police officers by citizens. We've also seen an increase in police shooting, resulting in deaths, highlighting safety concerns and potential underlying issues that this Senate should look into. For this sitting, colleagues, I hope to work with all of you on the following urgent priorities. Public-Private Partnership Act Liberia has entered into numerous PPP arrangements over the last years, yet we lack a comprehensive legal framework to regulate them. This gap has created space for inefficiency and misuse of public resources. So I will be working with you all to introduce a PPP Act that establishes clear rules, enforces transparency, and guarantees value for money. I had the opportunity to work with former Pro Tem Albert Chair as chair of an ad hoc committee that the Pro Tem put together to take a first look at the road concession agreements that the executive branch has drafted and is contemplating to do. Good idea. The attempts to address infrastructure deficits in our country, particularly in Western Liberia, our region. So that review process during our break with my distinguished colleagues, former Pro Tem Chair, Bati Hua, Sir Joseph, and my own Professor Augustine Chair, the chair on the Judicial Committee. I came to discover that our public-private partnership arrangements were a big issue. For a big project like that, even though it's good in the country, we need to put in place a framework to make sure that Liberia gets value for money before we act on them. So this is the main motivation for me to work with you all on this. I will also be working with 14 other senators who have signed on a medical malpractice accountability act. Our citizens deserve safe and reliable health care. There's a lot of complaints that we're not doing much. But when you look at what this legislature has done on education and health care in terms of appropriation, we have done enough, though we need to do more. And we need to hold our healthcare practitioners accountable now, particularly the health ministry, for the additional resources that we have given them over the last 2 years. Too many lives are lost permanently, and some are harmed due to negligence and malpractice, with no recourse for victims or their families. Last sitting, I worked with some of you, and 14 of our colleagues, plus myself from 15 counties, have signed on this bill. They advised that I work with the Liberia Medical and Dental Council to make sure that there's no duplication. We've done that. They have a provision in the act that penalizes the doctor, but it's not strong enough to the level of medical malpractice penalization that should address the harm and the heartaches that family members go through. The other thing that is included in this bill is the rejection of patients in emergency situations in our hospitals. When patients come in emergency situation, they don't prioritize them. They demand that they pay first before they treat them, and in the process, they die. These are Liberian citizens, and every life counts in this country. So I look forward to working with you on that. On police reform and public safety, we've been talking about this in our chat room with Chairman. Please, all people talk here for more than 3 minutes. We've been talking in our. I know this conversation can open political Pandora boxes. This is serious. This is serious. For a post-conflict country, we need to address this, colleagues. We've been talking in our chat room, so we look forward to engaging our chairman and other colleagues on police reform and public safety. The trust between law enforcement and the public has remained fragile in our country for 22 years since our war ended. To strengthen it, we'll have to work together with the security sector in the executive branch, with our colleagues in the lower house, to fix this. I think together we can equip our officers with non-lethal weapons, such as pepper spray and de-escalation kits, that they can try first before they start shooting people. We need to push for an increase in budgetary resources for that this year. And also demand training. We should train our officers on how to engage them. Mr. Chairman, I'll be working with you and others on this. And at the same time, working on public relations with our citizens that it is wrong to be beating police in the street. This is illegal, this is wrong. And we should strengthen the law that will penalize people who will attack police who are enforcing our laws. Budget credibility. Our first year here, we have some issue with the budget. I know my colleagues were laughing at me. I had the budget broken on my arm. They said they may think he's still finance minister. And then I slowed down. But yeah, because you have to work with your colleagues. But it's glaring now that we need budget credibility. Why? Because when the IMF revises your group numbers on the budget that you pass based on the original projection, then you know your budget is going to run into trouble. So it means that this Senate, I will be proposing that we do our separate budget hearing from the joint thing that we've been doing in the past, Mr. Chairman, Ways and Means. So that here in the Senate, as the elder house, we can scrutinize the budget, not to politicize it, but to make sure that it meets our people's needs based on our current reality. We can't force water out of rock. If we are going to grow by 5%, then we do our budget based on that growth projection with the provision that when the growth number changes like it has done on us now in the last quarter of the year, then we can readjust it to make sure that there's not enough stress in the system. This is what I will be proposing to the Ways and Means Committee from the PAC side, so that instead of the joint thing we do before, we should work, and then here we spend some time to scrutinize it, constructively, with a constructive view ahead to make sure that we can meet our obligations. And then on that, I want to talk about the domestic debt that Senator DeLeon has been advocating, and I thank him for his advocacy. The other report that was just released, which is an adverse opinion on the way we have managed domestic debt in our country, should claim all of us concerned here. That's a lot of money. So in budget credibility discussions, we need to make sure that domestic debt management is highlighted in our budget discussion. And the PAC is going to convene a public hearing on the audit report so that the public is aware of what the Auditor General has shown us. On the national issue, the last thing I'll be working with all of you on is corporate governance. The President has submitted, I believe, a bill on SOEs. I was not here, but I monitor the first sitting, and it was read by the Secretary of the Senate. This is a good thing. Mr. Vice President, please convey our thanks and appreciation to the President on this. We need SOE reform. When the Finance Minister reports in his annual financial report that out of 15 SOEs, only 13 gave him a report. Only 2 gave him reports, and only 2 contributed to the budget. That's an issue. I think we need to look at the President's bill. We need to welcome it with enthusiasm, but we also need to strengthen it so that the areas that are not included can be included. The NPA should be contributing to be paying dividend to the budget. FPRC should do more than 300,000. We applaud the Liberia Maritime Authority. What's going on at the FDA, a major economic sector, in the last 2 years? We don't know. So many SOEs are on the books, but we're not holding them accountable. And then finally, in my region, Western Liberia, we'll be working with the Western Liberia Legislative Caucus on our development agenda we submitted to the President, which the President has forwarded to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Finance to convene a roundtable so that we can begin to find ways to raise the resources for that. So I'll be working with the caucus group on that. I wish that I could stand here and really say the things that Senator Yantoye has said about road infrastructure in his county, about economic activities and so on. It's true. I went there. Nimba is thriving. It had, some infrastructure, even though we need to do more there. And the population is there, the economy is there, people gravitate towards where they can make money. But I wish I could say the same thing for Western Liberia. Our roads are bad, our economy is sluggish. Senator Twoyen, with all due respect, this is no political, prices in my part of the country have not changed. So our people, our people really want us to do that. So we'll be working with our friends on that one. and then finally, my county, Papulu. Papulu County.
No, it's good to hear the issue, then we can address it as soon as possible.
Correct.
Lift them, Senator.
Correct. Thank
That's
you.
why we arrest you for lift them. We're not
We're not
robbing you for lifting the real issue. Lift them.
In my county, Papulu County, it's unfortunate that expectations there have not been met in terms of the way we were expected to work together. And we have serious governance issues there. I think we need to reconcile. I think we need to go back and reconcile and solve our problems in our county. So I'll be working with colleagues in our caucus to see if we can go back home and sit down with our people so that we can, including Senator Kanya, and sit down among each other and just thrash things out. I support her. If where there's corruption, we need to fight it. The county approved during the CDC government, the last sitting there, to purchase yellow machines in our county. The administration then and the PMC purchased machines that cannot even come on. The superintendent comes in, exuberant and whatsoever, he cleans the machines from the port, and in the process, he's accused of taking $6,000 from the vendor as duty-free, as duty for something that was meant for duty-free. I need to say this because having spoken about the issue in Buffalo, I want to focus on the big issue. So the $6,000 is the one that is in question about the superintendent by the LACC. It's not the $500,000 that the previous administration used to purchase defective machines for our county. So I suppose my sister in her call for accountability, the LACC has done its job. The matter is in court now, and we look forward to the speedy process. But the issue really is causing distraction for the county. And I hope to work with Senator Kane and others to reconcile our people. One of the things that I will be pushing through her and others and to you for national consideration is the reburial. Is the reburial. I'm telling you, this is the last one. Is the reburial. It's the reburial of King Salboso Kamara.
You know who I enjoy? I pretend here.
King Salboso Kamara is buried right on the road. In the future, as the president is contemplating, and we are praying that we're going to build the road to Lofa through Babulu County, that grave will be affected. So it's better. No, we can't go around the grave. We have to rebury it and hopefully make it a national site, because this is a national figure. So I will be coming to you all for your support on that. Mining.
Senator, you got 1 more minute to wrap up.
Yeah. Mining.
1 more minute to wrap up.
Senator Taylor, our rivers are polluted in Babulu County. Benson Mines is issuing a lot of licenses just unrestricted to anybody in our county. We'll be working with you on that to curtail some of that, because it's degrading the environment and it's polluting our rivers. People are dying from it.
Thank you, Senator.
Mr. President.
Thank you. Yes, please, Senator Finley.
The fight will speak instead of the last. Because when he's the last, he gave us a whole, gave him almost 20 minutes to talk.
It's just like Kante was one of the last Kante created, that's why. Can we get a motion? Yeah, we're out of business, Senator.
Mr. President of the Senate, distinguished Senator, my communication was interrupted by.
Nobody, I know you started here.
No, it's a rule.
That's listen to the Senator.
My communication was interrupted by an order, but it was approved by a motion to be on the agenda. So a decision will be made by motion of my communication. When you seize the communication, you got to be brought back and a decision is taken on it.
Senator Snow, motion.
Darling, distinguished colleagues, having listened to the communication from our distinguished senator from River County, I move that I can obtain a second. That since it's within the rules that we've read, the act creating the entity involved, and within the prerogative of the president, the communication should be sent to the leadership or to address the matter.
If you move and second it, yeah, you have the time, you have a readiness. If you move and second it, now the communication be sent to leadership. Are you ready to vote? Why are you ready to send that to vote?
Honorable President of the Senate, distinguished Senator, given that the motion has been erroneously provided because the act does not give prerogative, it calls for change. I'll be ready to vote if you retract that motion that the act is stated clearly that the president has the right to fire. No, that is misleading. No, he cannot.
Senator Sloan.
Denied.
Denied.
Yeah.
With that, are you ready to vote? Those in favor say yea, again. Motion to adjourn.
I mean, you even you get one bundle of zinc to zinc somewhere for the time being. You take that 2 bundles of zinc, the government will be taking small money from your paycheck until you pay for that zinc. So in 2-3 years, if you
Hello. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Toure here. Welcome to the Nightly Exchange. I'm going to be your host for tonight, and momentarily, the rest of the crew will be joining us here as we engage in a conversation that has everything to do with national concerns. We're wherever you are watching us from. I just want to say good evening to you where you are. I pray that you had a very good start to your week. And as we proceed here momentarily, trying to get into our conversations and have you chime in and whatnot in the comment section, right? But yeah, so I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in, and for those of you who continuously, tune in, I want to say thank you. Thank you for hanging in with us. Thank you for always, coming on the Nightly Exchange, and obviously a change in ideas, a change in knowledge, and bringing your own perspective, whether on the show or in the comment section. We welcome every bit of it. We just want to acknowledge that and tell you thank you very much. So now what we're asking you to do, very simple. Just go ahead, hit that share button. Once you hit that share button, then that will help us get other people on as well. So go ahead and hit that share button for us real quick. Thank you once again. So you're listening to Senator Amaral Conan. What did you guys make of it? What did you make of the senator? Or the senator touched base on a lot of stuff. And one thing I really that I really keen on was the reburial of King Salboso Kamara. I don't think a lot of Liberians actually, that name, I don't think it resonated a lot, which is a damn shame. That name should resonate with every Liberian. It should be in every civic and history books, because that was a great man. You cannot write Liberian history without mentioning the great King Salboso and his contribution to what is now called Liberia. The whole reburial thing, that is definitely, something that I think in the coming weeks they're going to get engaged with, because I think where they're going to be, let me bring Morris on. Let me bring where they're going to be being the road to Lofa. Probably going to affect the burial site of the great King Salboso Kamara. So the senator thought based on that, and the senator also talked about illicit money. That's something that Morris, what's up? How you doing, sir?
I'm okay, man. So are you?
Well, good to have you on. So the senator also talked based on illicit money. That's something that continuing to ravage, our landmark in Liberia, especially when it's done in a way where it's not coordinated, when it's done in a way where anybody can just start digging anywhere without proper documentation, without proper citation, without proper oversight. Then we get into a very, very precarious situation. There's a lot of environmental crisis that can result from illicit money, because people just digging recklessly without, giving any sort of, concern about what are some of these impacts going to be for future generations. So when we see people talking about illicit money, and people are really putting a lot of emphasis on it, and I truly believe it's not even being talked about that much. It's not being talked about that much, because when you talk about environmental degradation, you're talking about, Morris, just mute yourself a little bit here. When you talk about environmental degradation, you talk about absolute just disregard to our environment, to our waters, We're talking about our ecosystem, the ecodiversity. All of these things are not being considered when you have illicit mining going on. So this is something that I really thought the administration are going to focus on, because we saw a whole lot of that happening on former President George Manuel Weah. And for we to continue to have that conversation now, almost 2 years into the administration, it's a little kind of like discouraging to say the least. But yeah, Morris, welcome to the show, man. I was just trying to give out some little synopsis into some of the talking points that we're gonna have, and hopefully we can get you, just go ahead and talk what's on your mind.
Yeah, I saw before coming on. I saw the short clip about Senator Connor, where he was just talking about the reburial of King Sao Boso, but I didn't know what was the reason he was calling for the reburial. But later did I know that it was because of the road construction, right?
That is correct. Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know from what basis, whether that is because I don't even know what to put. But I don't know whether, because we have to consider who is King Sao Boso, whether that is acceptable in the culture for the reburial of King Sao Boso, who was, based on his culture, whether his culture allowed for the reburial, or whether because of the role that he played in the country. So that why he calling for the reburial, or I don't know from what point. He did not really specify that, but that way I got a little bit confused. But it'll be a good thing. People like King Sao Boso name cannot be erased in our history. And that's why some of us got frustrated when Front Street. Front Street was called King Sao Boso Street, right? I wonder you know that.
Yeah, I heard of that.
Yeah. Front Street was called King Sao Boso Street. All of the sudden, that name just when they changed it to Front Street. I don't know how it happened, but today nobody called that street King Sao Boso Street, but rather Front Street. And you got all these other people: Ashmore Street, Benzin Street, Johnson Street. All this, all those names still. Yeah, Cabral Estate. Former president of another country, Cape Verde. I think the time he visited Liberia, they named that area Cabral Estate. But today we don't even have Ashmore. We don't even have King Sao Boso Street. I'm not even sure even the area where he was, whether he's even recognized or there any monument for him. But it was a good call for the senator to remind people that, look, as much as we welcome the road construction, but also too, there's a historical icon that's buried on that road, so we have to consider that in the reburial. Maybe even if it probably won't be reburial, maybe there will be something, a monument for him. So I mean, it was a good call. But on the overall, it's to be here. Yeah. What's on my mind? I would just, because I think I've exhausted much more time.
No, I mean it's okay. Well, I mean we're gonna get deeper into that whole reburial issue. I mean, obviously there is you need to factor in some cultural sensitivity and obviously consultation have to be made to his family and all that stuff. So, but I think the senator coming from a point that I think the newly proposed road construction is going to affect the that side of the barrier, and it's only I think appropriate for people to talk about that. A lot of people are talking about how about you just go around it. I mean, sometimes people die. Obviously, we know what that is, and he been going for a very long time. Even though that is not a good of a reason for someone to go in and do a reburial, but I'm just saying. But yeah, Morris, look, we just gonna obviously
But besides your right to read, trust me, if you're just one Morris Gasama, the bearer in that era, I think that would have been the concern for Mr. Conan. I think because the name King Saboso, I think that's the whole, that carry with, and not because I think that's the main reason why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. If it was somebody like let's say, if that was me,
exactly.
But I think it's based on, the figure he was,
right,
and his contribution to Liberia's history. Even though his history is something that people have long tried to distort, people have tried to erase it from all of our civics and historical textbook. But you see, one thing I know about history, it cannot be distorted. What positive or negative, people will stay. There'll be people that you know what I mean, that know of these things, and only due time that people really grasp it and people start to actually consider it. Like we know history, even in these Americas that we sit here today. We know what historians have done in this country to kind of like dismiss or maybe just absolutely erase Black contribution to the making of these United States. But again, every now and then there are stubborn people that will continue to push this envelope, or continue to push these ideas that, hey, look, you can't do that. We have people that contributed immensely to academia. We have people that contributed significantly to science, technology, and medicine. So these things will always come along. But people that actually go ahead and do the research, they will go ahead and find out for themselves, even though the power that be try to suppress it as much as they can. But yeah, Morris, let's get into it. So we had this thing still going on. The president, I don't know what I'm just gonna president. We obviously came out, allegedly, because I saw anybody could have made that post. But it was carried by a lot of outlets. Today, the president was obviously giving some not so, friendly kind of assertions, talking about, I can wake up 7 o'clock in the morning, I make my own breakfast. And meanwhile, someone have to come in and take you to the bathroom and give you a shower, prepare your clothes, prepare your food, and all that stuff. I mean, who do you think the former president was talking to, my man? The president, yeah, drives on thin air, my man. Is that hold on, wait. Is the president just trying to buy into this whole thing that, because obviously we know the former president health and physical appeal have come on a severe attack recently. People are speculating that the president is actually under a considerable amount of stress. Somebody even invoking that the president has a terminal illness, but that's what people are saying. And I think the former president just, what, I had enough of this nonsense. Let me come and put things in perspective. Is that what you think the president was doing, or is it wanted to be the same Joshua of old?
I think the reason why this things is even happening, or President Buya is coming on in the public to say all these things, I think because over time the way our politics has been played, because we all know current President Bouaka, when he was not president, we all know the politics that were played concerning his health. People say said a lot. They said things that is even unimaginable for you to say about somebody. Besides politics aside, There were people who even openly said they may die. They may sick. They may this. And you know, Baka was sick. Baka was sick. I don't want to pay his hospital bill. I don't want to pay his surgery. These things were said not just by the ordinary Liberian or the ordinary people. This thing was said by people in the highest position, the president, the people that are close to the president, the vice president. So when you say all these things, then sometimes it comes back to you. You will expect people to say this, and now the only thing that you will have to do is to come and clarify. I remember during the campaign, Joe Howard Taylor said, "If Waka die, who can be president of my people? So if Waka die, then a Prince Johnson can be president." Can you imagine that? This was Joe Howard Taylor. She was telling us if she didn't want to get a death certificate. When Waka, so by the time you make Waka president, then Waka come die, the Prince Johnson come take over to control Jeremiah Kuntobito. That was Joa Howard Taylor during the campaign. She said that. Yeah, recently when Joa Howard Taylor appeared on some program, some press conference they were giving, and all the opposition political party, including Mobla Molu, they were there. If you remember, when Joa appeared with a stick, walking with a stick, the people say, "Oh, really? You that were just talking about somebody that you walking with a stick?" So they hit on her hard. And sometimes we've been saying this thing. This is an 80-year-old man. How will you even mock 80-year-old man sleeping? 80-year-old man, you see that man sleeping. How will you even mock such a person? Or the man less sleeping? 80-year-old man, the man walking by himself. You expect 80-year-old man to be even 60% healthy or even 50% healthy? No, this man is blessed. 80-year-old man, they may still walking by himself. They make him stay and read for 1 hour without using glasses. But this was the politics they played, though. So, President, we have to come up and say all these things and say this. I saw his former AD posted a video. President, we are in the gym training old video. Just to tell people that no, this is not the case that you guys. This is not the case with President. We are. But the thing is that if you're sick, you're sick. It's only God, but if you're sick, you're sick. No, that's not politics. Sickness are not politics. You can't play politics with sickness. When you're sick, you're sick. So just to close up, I think the way our politics have been played over time, so you expect this, and the only option they got is to come in the public and try to cover up. If it is true that he's actually sick, the only thing that will come is to cover up. But other than that, anybody can get sick. Anybody can get sick.
But Maurice, obviously we know anybody can get sick. But is it so? I think this probably nuance in Liberia. Is it because you don't see really? And I know people say, "Oh, another gentleman on yesterday he talked about how former President Joe Biden have actually been played up in the spotlight and all of that stuff." But there's level to that, don't you think? I feel like, you can talk about, someone not being fit for the office, someone, not being like, this or that. But I mean, I find it absolutely disgusting for someone to openly just talk about someone's health, with absolute no sense of, consideration that, hey, look, that is a HIPAA violation. You can't
exactly
talk about someone's health in a public manner like that without their consent, and even if they give you the go ahead to, it's just not appropriate. But the president, obviously, we all know where the president going with those statements that he made today. But either way, and you struck a very good point. We were on throughout the campaign, period, and there was a considerable amount of attack that was being directed to then former vice president, to now former president, to now president Ambassador Joseph Numa about his health. Some people said the man carrying battery in him and all that stuff. Other people said all kind of incendiary stuff. But is the chicken coming home to be roast? Is that what it is? Is it a payback now that people are publicly I'm engaging with former president now, Joey. I have publicly.
Yeah,
Is it like a payback?
I think so. Look, the thing here is right. That's why in life you just gotta be moderate in whatever you do. There should always be moderation in your doing. You know, and that's why the Prophet, peace be upon him. I'm a Muslim, so I have to quote the Prophet. He's my role model. He said, "Be moderate in your action. Be moderate in your doing. Don't hate too much, and don't just love too much." And there's a reason for that. You know, like I said, you say all this because sometimes you get so bitter with somebody, it make it difficult to even reconcile with the person. That's why he said, don't hate too much. You get so bitter with the person, you're so bitter. And at the end of the day, when there's time for you to reconcile, it make it difficult for you to reconcile with that person. So, and don't love too much because when there's time for you, for you to, the pain it will be hard for the pain to go. So don't love too much, don't hate too much. The way our politics, I will come back to this issue. The way they discuss this old man's sickness and death, it was not just people talk about Joe Biden. We all in America, yeah. You got limit. You can discuss somebody else, but you got limit. You got limit. Nobody need to tell you. You know where to stop and you know where not to go. So yeah, the way they discuss the old man death, life, this and that, so it coming back. Nobody knew about we had recent condition only when he came out. So it was the same with Joe.
All right, I think someone just called Maurice. Maurice, you back with
No,
us?
nobody called me. I think for your end, nobody called me.
Well, go ahead. I'm active. Ain't nothing happening around my end.
Yeah, I said I don't know. It just probably could be the internet. Yeah. So just to close out, nobody knew but Joab after the presidency. People almost forget about Joab. When she came outside with the cloth, with the stick walking, she can't even walk good. She got this. People say, "Oh."
Okay, so having the same problem again. So basically this.
So yeah, but I agree about you too, right? It's just like a payback anyway. Just to pull it. If it is true, President, we are not sick. The fact that he's looking in that kind of manner, people will make it look like he's sick. Yeah, so it's up to him.
This is what I would say to that. I know very well, for me personally, for someone who take fitness, to be an integral part in my daily routines and stuff like that. I like what I see from the president. I hope there is nothing there. But just looking at him slimming down like that, I think it's a good thing. I was always troubled by his physical appearance. I did not like, he growing, his stomach all flashing out like that for a former athlete, not just any athlete, but someone who actually play at the high echelon at the pinnacle of his career, at the highest level, because he achieved something only a handful of players, the world best. There's a reason why since he did that 1995-96, no other player on the continent of Africa have eclipsed that, right? So that speaks volume to that level. And for him to be looking like that physically, for me, I was always troubled by that. And video now coming out, even in the presidential aide, Sekou Carrasco, posted a video of the president engaging in what I, consider to be a very intense, sit up and different thing, So, and obviously, look, man, seeing is believing, and video speaks louder than words. So, and according to Carrasco, that the president obviously engages in that activity every morning. So,
but people say it's the old video though. People say that video is the old video.
Oh, people say the old video. Well, look, I tell you what, whatever that is, man, people gonna say what people say, but he did not indicate under his commentary, or at least in his caption where it says it was an old video. So
It's
so
it's actually old video. That why they didn't push it for long. It's the old
well,
video.
hey, look, my man, this is the thing. We are here to dissect and speak on issues that are made available to us, right? I'm not I'm not gonna go to do a research. Maybe my man Lean Lockboarding can do that for us to authenticate whether that video was from 2017 or 2025. But Morris, what I saw, obviously, I don't know. But what is troubling though? What is troubling? I don't know whether you saw the other video from the president. I believe it was Sunday. That video now, if you know, I don't want to give free PR to James Goodday Flomo on his platform, but for the sake of the conversation, but James Goodday Flomo actually posted a video of the president, the former first lady, at his, I believe that was Fort Colon Church, and the entire congregation, you know, was standing singing, you know, Morris, and all of a sudden the president took his seat. I mean, and I was taking that back because considering the president, the kind of person he is, how entertaining he can be, and how exuberantly submerged, you know, kind of activities he can be, actively engaged in those kind of activities, for him to just, his wife standing next to him, and he sat down, and the camera went across the stage, literally, everybody was standing, and the president sat down. I mean, that right there, and not just only that he sat, but his aura, his body language, you know, Morris, you know, body language speaks a lot, right? You know, his whole body language was just a little kind of turn off for me. But did you, my question to you now, have you seen that video? Did you stumble across that video or not?
I saw the video. I think that video defeated the argument that former President Weah was taking, you know, because of the training, the hard, intense training, that what dropped the body. That video that I saw defeat that argument. You know, it nullified the whole argument because look, you can be dropping weight, but to even when you want to stand, you can't even, you gotta hold on something to stand. It speaks a lot. It's something different. You understand, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that video.
Okay, Morris.
That video, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that video actually defeat the whole argument. That gym thing, man, in the gym. If you're in the gym taking that kind of intensive training, then you can't even stand good. So I mean, I don't know, man. But like I said, the politics that they play over time, you can't wish for somebody death. You say all the word, and this thing was even coming from the highest. That's what I said. It was not just the ordinary people. These are things I was saying, but even the president himself. I don't want Baka sick. I don't want saying give him money to go do back surgery, to go do the other surgery, this and that. I don't know whether they thought about the strategy for them. That when they say all that thing, they will make like brand people turn again. They keep running with one thing until today. Some of them, you know. So it just that video just defeat the whole argument.
Let me hold you there. Let welcome my brother Tato. Tato, what's up, brother? What's going on? How are you?
I'm good. And you?
I'm doing well. Tatos, to my amazement, I am seeing your light continues to brighten up. It seems like things are really adding up in Liberia though, in terms of LEC. How consistent it is. You should be our reporter from Liberia. I feel like we should be bringing you on to keep up to keep up updated. We'll be like, all right, our correspondent Tatos, how you doing? Then you just come in with all your updates. But how are you, brother? Good to see you.
No bad. I'm good. Well, on the line of LEC, we give God the glory and also the government, and also the praises go to the managing director, Mohammed Sharif. Actually, the LEC, like I told you before, LEC, what we saw since Mohammed Sharif get there as a new management, we give God the glory. even if it go, not even less than 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it come back. Seriously.
Fantastic.
So, like, I listened to him last night on Class Reloaded, what he discussing and to improve during the dry season. We hope that things will be better. Like I told you, no need for you to worry to come back in December. Come and see.
So
You see,
we
as
said
a dude, I think he saw a post from Samuel Jackson. He said he admitted it. So I just want to refer to you on some of those things.
but that does do. If we say there'll be no competition come 2029, is that like so are you saying JMB would have absolutely done so much in a country that there will be nothing to campaign against on? Is that what you're saying?
Well, Joe Bwaka is doing extremely well. Yeah, there are some lapses, but when we look at things within 1 year and a half or going to 2 years, I think we have to applaud him for what he's doing, because there are so many sectors that he touched. Even on the road aspect again, I follow some social media on the road aspect. When you come to that, even the Southeast today, they are praising the same government that we're discussing. But when they come to 2029, no matter how things are very somehow difficult, but when it comes to election, even if Joe Bwaka contests today, for me, I don't see like if the way he start, if he continue or he improve more than this, there will be no election. Yes, people will say, "Oh, Joe Weah will come. Joe Weah may come back, or he may not come back," because from now to 2029, who knows? Story may change, or he may say, "Oh, let me go and contest." So they may not say, "Oh, and I didn't contest." But when things are continuing like this, I don't think that nobody can stand in front of Joe. Even Joe Bwaka even won the election more than they want he done in 2023. For my observation.
So okay, so let me hold you there. Let me come to Morris. So obviously we got Tatos here, Tatos from La Growth. So Morris, are you buying what Tatos is saying? That with the level of development that the president is involving on right now, I mean, it's so unprecedented that it might not even matter for somebody to join the race, or at least competing against him come 2029. And that's bearing if the president even decide to run, because with his age, a lot of people can really take that into consideration. But that's what Tato's saying. Is the president making any maneuvering for 2029, or he just putting his best foot in front of him and do what he can do now and allow 2029 to take care of itself?
Well, it's too soon to say that. It's too soon to say that. But if we should hold all factors constant, comparing what this president has done in 2 years compared to that of Mr. Weah, 2 years or even 6 years, I think one can say, look, even today with all the noise in the market, even today there's election, there's a likelihood that the President Walker will win. But one thing too we have to take to consideration, there are a lot of things that drive people when it comes to election. Many different things. Probably the thing that can drive you is different from what maybe I can say, you know what? Okay, the president came and brought stability in the country. The country is quiet, no too much, so I go for the president. The president came looking at his developmental drive he came with. I think there's more to go. I think I can go with the president. I can even give you another 6 years. So there are a lot of things. Some people say, the president came, he improved the education system, or he improved the health system, or he improved rural. So there are different things that drive people when it comes to election. So, but we can say that right now it's too soon. But like I said, holding all factors constant, comparing what this government has done in 2 years if you bring president we are today, you marching against the president will still defeat him. Probably the margin might even be wider than what was in the case 2023.
Okay. Speaking of 2023, so there was this statement that was made by former speaker now, Funati Kofa. So former speaker Funati Kofa came up with a statement, and I'm gonna read this out real quick. So former speaker Representative Funati Kofa writes, on Thursday, I will present a letter on the floor calling for the creation of a US 25 million social safety net fund dedicated to helping our vulnerable people pay school fees and rent. When the town is hard, the government must intervene. Even the great United States provide relief through food stamps and other social programs. We can fund this initiative by cutting our benefits, reducing foreign travels, limiting vehicle purchases, redirecting resources from LPRC, and borrowing from NASCAR. Our people are restless and are crying for relief. The town is hard and we must act now. So that's coming from former Speaker J. Funati Kofa. Morris, I mean, what do you make of this? Is this, like people always come up with some of the best ideas when they're in opposition compared to when they're in position. Wasn't Funati Kofa in the house when President John Mahama were there?
Yes, of course he was there.
I mean, is this, what do you make of that statement? What do you make of trying to bring about something that, you know what I mean, that did not occur when I mean, look, it's a good thing. Trust me, when the fund is there, obviously helping our people out, it's always a good thing. Nobody can say no to that. But bro, what's up? What's going on?
To be honest, I have a contrary view to that, because you see, you're not trying to make law to that we quote unquote strangulate the government, because mind you, Unity Party, President Bouaka will not be in power forever. This argument that the country is poor, everybody's suffering, people dying, walking died, people sleeping. Yeah, we all can make that argument. But to trying to design a program, you save money, and trying to save money for 25 million. That's gonna be like every year, where people will just be paying, they'll be paying people school fees, they'll be paying people rent. Then what are you saying? Are you saying that the country is so rich to the point that people don't even need to work again? And this is like the resurface of the argument the progressive were pushing way back. People don't need to work. The country is so rich. People don't need to work. They can get money everywhere. People can get rest everywhere. They push the argument. And you're making comparison to America. Even America here, with all the program, they got different program that you have to apply for. But they don't got money where citizens just go, they just give money. These things happen when there's national disaster. Yeah, the government can step in. That's why America, yeah, you heard about the stimulus package. When there's national disaster, national epidemic broke out in the country, yeah, the government can step in. But to create a program where you save starting money, 25 million or 10 million or 30 million, where they will just be giving the citizen money to go pay their own rent. Look, you don't even have to do all this, because you don't want to start something that you cannot even, and at the end of the day, it will create more chaos in the country. Because if you come up with that program, people don't even need to work again. They will just depend on that money. They got to pay their rent. They will pay their school fee. Design a program where our people can get job. our people can be employed. Design a program where our market women can get small loan to do their business. Come up with this kind of design. Come up with a program where students can get small money loan to go to pay their school fee, to be on loan with a great design a program where when you qualify you can get loan. Other countries doing it. In university you get certain allowances. Design, come up with a kind of program, but they just say we'll create a program where we'll get money somewhere, 25 million, 30 million somewhere. Citizens will just be getting money to pay them every month.
Yeah,
I'm not sure Liberal rep for that.
Okay, let me hold you there. So basically, when you bringing up that kind of program, I mean, look, I don't think we have the fund to begin with, and even if we do have the fund, I truly believe there are areas that the money should be allocated to that will do something to the social skills enhancement program, enhancing vocational training, putting money in schools, in education, because I don't believe in giving money to people, because at the end of the day, they say, what? Don't just give the man the fish, right? Always teach them how to fish. So use that money, invest in the private sector, open opportunity up for people, and then that way people will be able to fend for themselves with opportunity being made available to them, opposed to just putting $25 million on the side and helping people to pay their rent. Are you going to be paying that rent until when? So let's get to Tatos. Tatos, our former speaker Jay Funati Kofa talking about coming with a program that will ensure that people get assistance. What do you make of that?
Yeah, Masadu, I read about it. I read our post. But for me, right now, I don't think that we're ready for that. The only thing I'd like to encourage the councillor is that let him revisit the constitution, because if I don't mistake, we have the constitution that says that the Indian, the foreigner, they are even when you open a business or company, there are certain positions that you don't have to hold it. The only way we have the qualified Liberians, they need to hold it and be in that capacity to serve. But right now in Liberia, we can see that where some Liberian people making like their own foreigners, when they open up, they will bring a company where the position that they were supposed to be making $5,000, $3,000, $1,000, they themselves will hold it. Then while Liberian people will be making like something like 200, 150. So let the councillor visit our constitution and then send it mandate to the Minister of Labor, because it was some part of this year when the argument came between the Minister of Labor and the CSA director. The Minister of Labor came up and said that all the position that Azura Mida were holding, that they have everything, they have turned it to the Liberians. Later on now, the CSA director, Paul Josiah Juka, came up and said no. About 3,000 Lebanese and Indians to Azura Mida. There are certain positions that they supposed to hold it, or they're not supposed to hold it, and we suppose that they're holding it. I think that was the argument between the both of them. So you see, but we don't have that. We have the resources. But even if they put the money aside, who will get it tomorrow? If my child are going to school tomorrow, would them verify me as of maybe the metator son or child is not going to school or this that? For me, I don't think so. So they can read or they can invest that money in agriculture, in so many activities that Liberian people, they can create work for really Liberian people that will be able to solve the problem. Because if our taters working and making something like $200, $300, I don't think that I will go even up today and say, please help me with $50, let me pay my child's school fee. I don't think so. I will not be able to go to Representative Kofa and say, oh, please help me with small money. No, it will not be possible.
But
yes.
You see, we have a trend here, right? I feel like this is something Liberian politicians have been able to run on, try to buy public sentiment, right? In pretense, as safe to say they have the public best interest. But trying to engage in a program that has absolutely no sustainable value down the line, right? You can't sustain such project. And if you do that, all you're gonna do, you're gonna build a culture of government dependency, right? Where people only look up to federal government to build them out in their misery. And that is not a trick you can use to build a country that is relies on tax payment to government, right? So if you have everybody depending on government, then who will be paying tax to government? You know, and just to pay, like just to reinforce the argument that you're making. That's what we hear from politicians all the time, including former Vice President Joy Howard Taylor. She had the audacity to come on air saying, she's gonna propose a legislature that will see to it that lawmaker salary, increasing lawmaker salary because people go in front of their houses every morning to beg them. But yeah, finish up. Let get some.
If so now, why she was there? She served as senator 2 terms. She served in that house 2 terms. I think she spent about 12 years, 15 years. The 3 years she didn't end it. 15 years in the House of Senate. She made 6 years as a Senate president. As that, like that now, she will have to bring all those things. But I don't know. The one thing I understand about the Liberian politicians is that when they are not in power, they don't got a good idea to solve the problem. When they are out of power, that's the only time you see them suggesting or bringing good idea and other stuff. Why when you were there, you didn't do those? So anyway, I'll leave it with you.
But Ture, in 5 seconds.
Let me hold on, Morris. Look, so yeah, man. So look, at the end of the day, I'm sick and tired of lawmakers coming proposing programs just to buy sympathy from the citizens, right? Right here, anybody read this or hear this on radio, you say, oh, Fonati doing this so government can put money in our pockets and the government, but you yourself know, you Fonati, you know very well, this is not a sustainable way of alleviating or at least helping people get out of poverty, right? But you're trying to leave the bigger fish, something that you know, because you've been around long enough to understand on top of sustainable growth and sustain economic success. You don't do it like that. You don't take money and give to people. What's going to happen 4-5 years down the road or decade down the road? All right, Morris, come in.
Yeah, but and that's why sometimes that's why when people trying to set the standard for you, how to make the argument, don't buy into that. Don't let anybody set the standard for you, because these people that are serving as they presenting themselves as a moral police today, you got to remind them. They say, look, yesterday, this was who you were yesterday. Representative Kufa talking about they should set 25 million aside. The country is so hard. Under normal condition, they be paying people house rent. Look, during the COVID, right? That was a natural disaster. During the COVID, I could say natural disaster, but it was an epidemic, right? I shouldn't say natural disaster. I don't know how it come. Yeah, but right during the COVID, as much as the COVID was not that worst, but the government set aside 30 billion like a stimulus package for people. How many person got that money? They got rest for how many people got that money? That rest. I think it was a deputy speaker at the time.
Oh, you mean
got up? Huh?
Oh, you mean the rest? Oh, you mean the rest? They themselves took half to their own.
I think they said I said 30 million for that program. Nobody. I don't know of anybody that said I got the money or I get this and that. Where was Kufa? Then on a normal condition, he said the government government will put 30, 25 billion every year to divide among citizens. Where you coming from with that one? But let's go ahead, man. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, man, you know, politics, that's one thing. Politics is just politics, and people do any and all things to get favor on their side. And I truly believe that's what is going on here. I don't think there's any if and but about that. But yeah, the issue of this corruption issue came up today again in the Liberian Senate. You know, about that mayor in Bopolu, you know, and this is something now that even the two senators now from that part of the territory in Liberia both now spoke on that issue, on that very issue today. And we discussed this yesterday, and I believe the day before. So this is of a no-brainer. I think the president need to do something about it. I mean, if the LACC have already done their goal and found out this guy indeed is you know what I mean, is corrupt, and for it to a court, and the court have done their ruling in favor of that, then why is the guy stay in power? Why is he stay there? And I think that's what both senators are talking about. But let's start with Tatos. Is the president in any way helping, or at least adding any value or any level of seriousness to this fight against corruption?
You know, to fight corruption, I like the way the president doing, but it also not only suspending them or dismissing them. Let them be taken to court. Let them be taken to court. Because even if you suspend Tatos is corrupt.
Instead of went to court, the guy was found guilty.
Yeah. If you found guilty, let him pay the money, and also let him go to jail. That's all. There is no sympathy for that. No need for you to say, oh, let me have a second chance on him, or no. If he found guilty, let him go to jail. Let him go serve, if that 2-3 years. Let him set the example that tomorrow, even if Joe Biden not in power, other people can follow the same footstep. Simple as that.
All right, Maurice, you man, what do you make of that?
Yeah, I think
did the president still total walking the issue, or there's not anything of a priority to the president?
Well, I don't have much information on the whole stuff, but taking your word for it. Look, I think anybody can be corrupt. The president don't have control over people, how to know whether somebody will be corrupt or somebody will not be corrupt. But the power the president has is when somebody is found to be corrupt, the president has that power to take action. And I think he has been trying in doing that. And, you know, in many cases where people have been just by accusation, looking at the evidences on his table, I think he has taken actions in many areas. And my understanding is that most of the people that he has suspended, they have not even come back. I'm not sure of anybody under this president that he have suspended and they have come back. And, you know, I think he have tried. I don't know what's the issue with this other one, what's going on. But if all the necessary evidence has been proven, then the president is not taking action, then I think he's reneging for whatever reason. We are not interested in the reason. As long as the president is found to be corrupted and the court has deemed the president to be corrupted, the president must take action against that person. He must. He doesn't have an option in that. He must take an action against the person.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I agree with you on that. I think when you have two senators now coming up to talk on the same issue, And obviously, I think it has some vitality. It has some, some truth to it. And the president just need to act, because that's one thing. You see, for me personally, unnecessary public relation, something that you can obviously not allow to linger, deal with it, and move on, because the story not going to go away. As long as this thing going to be there, you building what we call public perception, and no perception might be detrimental, because it's almost like, yeah, the facts are there. Indeed, the LECC did her part to charge this person, or at least declare the president of being corrupt, and the court ruled in favor of what was being made available by the Malays, and nothing up to now has been done to no dismissal or suspension on the part of that. So I don't think that is a good thing to have. But yeah, so look, guys, we know our country is politically charged. Make no mistake about that. Everybody is just waiting for someone to make mistake. Everybody waiting for someone to make mistake. Everybody waiting for someone to slip. Some people are praying. Some people going to church. Some people going to mosques, praying that the current government, the current president should fail, so they can have an opportunity to come and do the same goddamn thing. To a point where a sitting senator will come out to say, all I'm praying is for the government to fail. You know what I mean, Morris? I mean, the absurdity of that coming from a senator, and not just a senator, man, someone that is so, someone that is so submerged, an absolute. You cannot talk liberal politics without bringing in Henry Snow name in it, and that's because they may have been there for a very long time, But that man, with everything liberal have done for his personal aggrandizement, but yet they still praying for the country to fail, right? So we know there will be that. But I come to this, though, Morris. When we talk about avoiding bad public relation, right? And for me, bad public relation for me is just doing the little things, the things that are least complicated. Do those things. Once you get those things correct, the big ones, people need to have certain level of sophistication to read through those ones, right? But the little one that are bread and butter issue, when you start to not deal with those things, then you obviously build a perception in the minds of people that if you're not doing the little things, only God knows what you're doing with the big things. So is this government actually kind of like welcoming these level of, amateur criticism, or just like they are overwhelmed with everything else, and they just keep, doing things that will get people like someone like me going like this? What do you make of bad PR, my man?
You mean bad PR from the government angle or from the opposition?
Bad PR from the government angle, like obviously failing on the least things, and making progress on the big things, but the little ones, then I feel like they're where people really focus on, because you need to have certain level of sophistication to be able to dissect complex issues. But finding somebody that was made available through a government agency, right, submitted to the court adjudicated on a matter and declared that this guy is guilty, and yet he's not suspended, he's not fired. I mean, what's going on? Those are little things, man.
Well, like I said, I don't know the intricacies of this whole this whole issue. Probably, yes, this could be an isolated case, but even though it's an isolated, it could be an isolated case, but it's as important as any other case. So, like I said, if all necessary formality has been put into place, and this guy is found guilty, and that information has reached the president, and the president has been asked to take action, because mind you, most of these things sometimes, and don't get me wrong to say, oh, the president he have his own decision, his own mind. No, like any other president. When these things have been done, they reach it to your table where, Mr. President, this is the conclusion, and this is the action that you need to take at this point in time. So now is at the president leverage to take that action or not? And if he refuses to take the action, then he just tells the kind of president he is. So, like I said, I don't know what is going on that the president have not taken action. If it has reached to the point where he needed to take action, why he has not taken action. But on the point of bad PRO, I don't think the government has bad PRO or they're doing a bad PRO. No, I'm not sure. I think in fact, the people beating on the government for selling their own market, so to speak. I think they're selling their own market. They're doing their own promotion. They're doing their own thing. They're beating their own drum, and which is also, part of the work, because we're in a society where people see a lot of people see what they choose to see. And, we're in a country where by the time they say you corrupt, you got more fan base. That's like Bureau right there. By the time they say the person corrupt, that person become hero overnight. That person now become the Messiah. He become the prophet. In fact, said to some point, said he won't become senator. He won't become representative. He won't become president. That is the country. So on the part of the PRO, bad PRO, I'm not sure the government is bad. I understand from the point you're speaking, because this thing happens. Yeah, I understand from the point you're speaking, when things happen where the government need to take, immediate action, and the president, the government renege.
That's not frustration, man.
Yeah, and the government renege.
Or suspend the president.
Right. I understand from the point.
President back after you find your facts, but don't allow the public to be like, or having a senator now, one senator, two senators talking about the same damn issue, right? Like, save yourself that headache. Suspend the president, suspend with pay, suspend without pay, depending on the severity of the issue, or maybe if you have any sort of intuition or insight into the fact that that person should be, you know what I mean? Like, come up with that. That will bury that whole story.
Yeah, but you see the way our governance system is, and this is where sometimes we get it wrong too. We also think that the fight against corruption should only be done by one group, and this is not fair. We think the fight against corruption should only be done by one group, which is the executive. We all can help. The legislation can help. They got it. They got a part to play. The judiciary got a part to play. The senator by now also too should try to place a call to invite those in authority to say these things have happened. Why you have not taken action? Invite the Minister of Justice. Invite the Solicitor General. Invite the president. Invite this. Why this has not happened? You got a power to invite. Why this have not? Why is the president, Mr. Minister or Mr. this and this? Why the president have not taken action against this president? The senator has the power to do that too. So they also too should do that. And so we all can have a
Well, I think that's why they are bringing it up to the president's attention to you know what I mean? Because obviously you and I know that it's not every little thing that the president will be, like in the knowledge of. The country is big. There are a lot of things going on. So the president probably might not be aware of a lot of these things that are happening. But you also have district commissioner, county,
no. Why I'm saying they're having a debate on their floor. I'm saying that the Senate has the power to invite the county representative. The county superintendent. They got the power to invite anybody in the government. I think with some exception of the president, but they have the power to invite Mr. Superintendent. Why your president have not taken action against the president.
Okay,
Mr.
let me hold you there. Let me bring Tatos in. Tatos, man, what do you make of the president position, man? With the whole thing. If you don't want noise, just deal with it. And when people bring that kind of story, then kill it. Get rid of that person. Suspend the president. Suspend them with pay, so that way people can be coming at you all the time.
Today,
Yeah.
like I said earlier, suspending them, not only to suspend them, but immediately return them to what? To the Ministry of Justice. Let them go through the investigation. And when you are clear that you have no hand in the cookie jars, I would like to appeal to the president to reinstate you. But when you are caught, I don't want for him to have mercy upon him, because if we keep having mercy upon them, it will be looking somehow difficult that we will not be able to fight the corruption. And even the Senate, they can wait until, I don't know, because they can get their small, I'm not saying that maybe, but let's just assume, I don't know, they can get their small court that if they able to invite them to ask what very going on and to get a comprehensive or report on that, we don't know. So the president very need to take action immediately when the GAC or the LACC come up with a report. No wasting time. Let him go straight to the point, and then see how best last I can be clear.
Okay. All right. I totally agree with you. Go ahead, clear it out. Don't waste. Don't delay. But our brother in the comment section saying some things then too that I think it could make sense. But I'm definitely not going to take a word for it, but it just makes sense. That's Lynn Lakpo, a very able and consistent follower. Yeah. Lynn Lakpo writes, what's happening in those counties is far deeper than corruption. Those senators are conspiring against those officials because they can't channel money through projects in those counties anymore. And then he goes on to write, in the case with president of Lofa County Community College, they are trying to get the president of the institution out because he's not complying with the usual game, and now there is a fabulous so he continues. There is a fabulous corruption case levied against him, and President Boakai sees this right through those BS. That is why he's refusing to play along. That's coming from a very able Lynn Lakpo. So Morris, my man, Lakpo politics more than I do. Reading what, listening to what Lynn Lakpo wrote over there. I mean, is there anything there that you can catch and run with it?
Yeah. History have told us that what Lynn Lakpo is saying, it is true. It's true. It has been happening over time. County government officials have been complaining that lawmakers in the county have not been harassing them for this and that. Over time, lawmakers have complained over time that the county superintendent not working with them. So it has been a back and forth between lawmakers and county superintendent. I will always bring it to the famous eat story between Grace Kpan, the former Montreal County Grace Kpan, and one Montreal County lawmaker. I think what's the guy named Ford? I don't know. What's the guy? Edward Ford. So there could be some truth. It's evident. Lawmakers have been complaining that when you're doing something, I think recently. Where's the guy from Bon County? He was complaining that when you're doing something, you can inform us. You just do it by yourself. I'm the district representative. I'm supposed to be aware. You can't come and open bridge and do something.
That's this guy.
Yeah. what's the guy name, man? Yeah, so
Is
could also
isn't that Mervyn Cole?
that's Mervyn Cole. When you're doing something, you can inform with the lawmakers in the county and this and that. So it has fun, even from Madam Salif time, it has always been back and forth with lawmakers and superintendent, county superintendent and stuff like that, city mayor. I don't want to say it is true that this is the case, but it could also be because it has been happening, you know.
So
Yeah.
he buying through whatever Lynn Lapo is saying over there that there are some internal politics that's being played, and the president sees it through all of these things that are happening domestically. And is it true that the well, look, like I said, man, you've been in the trenches long enough to understand all of the intricacies. That's the reason why I'm asking you.
No, I'm not buying into Lin Lapo. You know, I don't know where he got it.
Entirely though. I mean, there could be some.
Yeah, but I'm only saying that what he's saying. I have an idea because this has been happening. I just trying to bring your mind to it. I've been happening from early time where lawmakers has been complaining back and forth. Lawmakers have been accusing county superintendent have been accusing lawmakers for corruption. So it's been happening. I'm not saying that this could be the case, but it has been happening before, and it has also been happening. There have been some little jealousy and envy, not necessarily corruption, because mind you, most of the lawmakers, they want re-election. So they feel that most of this development should be done by them. They should spearhead the development, not the country superintendent, because they want to be re-elected. So there are a whole lot of different things. So it could be either one,
Okay, all right. How about you, Tatus? Do you buy into any internal politics that's been playing over there? Maybe the senator they're not like the super. I mean the mayor close proximity with the president, and they want to get their own president there. Is that are you buying anything like that?
Today, one thing you should understand is that politician always a politician. Nothing can change them, and no politician will come up with only one. No politician will come up with sincerity under no condition. Some of them want to influence what or to get what they want. 2029 is around the corner. Despite around 4 years, some of them want to go back, and some of them will come back. Some of them will not come back. So they always like to do things that, since the election is coming, let me do something that the voters understand that are the one enforce the one, are the one the cause of this. So when you see some of those things happening, before you take action, you have to think about it and then study it, and then before you take action on some of those things.
So how about this? So let come to the Minister of Information, especially with Deputy Minister of Information, the man who never shy away from from going down a gutter, you know what I'm saying? And that's Daniel Sando. So Daniel Sando, obviously, he's not one of the guys that like to take the back seat. The man, he should be now viewed as the man who will not let it go. So Minister Sando accused former president use of the words charlatans and multi-banks. Oh man. Mr. Sando accused former president of using words to describe current government officials and characterized President Joseph Boakai as being evil and disregard for the rule of law, for his disregard for the rule of law. He went on to caution who are the real charlatans and multi-banks, accusing pointing fingers at accused CDC-led administration of massive looting of state resources to amass wealth and build condominiums. The top talking minister speaking Tuesday at MACAT regular press briefing accused former President Weah of using a CDC groundbreaking event to ring invectives at President Boakai and his official. Something he said cannot go unnoticed. He criticized the CDC-led government headed by former President George Weah of messing up the country's image, which he said is being cleaned up by President Boakai and his Unity Party's government. So basically, Morris, we talk about the Ministry of Information. This is something Senator Prince Johnson, God rest his soul. Senator Edwin Snow actually came out recently that the Ministry of Information has been weaponized. That's his exact words. He said the Ministry of Information has been weaponized by elements he referred to engaged in an act of gangsterism. His words again. Those are not my words. His words again. But was it foul or fair by Donald Sando? By just trying to put this in perspective, do you think it was done in good faith? Do you agree with his assertions? How do you call this? Unmasking the contradiction and putting things in its proper perspective. Is that what Donald Johnson was trying to do here, Morris? In your estimation?
I think the first thing here is right. We have to first Snow referred to the Ministry of Education as going on attacking. They are not doing their work. They are attacking taxpayer money, according to him. He said, we paying them. They can't be attacking us. Probably Mr. Snow thinking that when he pays Daniel Sando, he paying the government officials, that means they can just say anything to the government officials, and when the government official respond, he consider that attack. I don't even understand what he mean by we paying them. Because although people that work in the government too, they're also paying tax, they contributing, that's what they're serving. As a matter of fact, you must have the ultimate respect for them because they're working, they're serving your country. So I don't understand, but that could be an argument. But when you say attack, I'm not sure this information ministry team they just wake up, they go attack, they respond to people, they attack people. No, I don't think so. I don't see it that way. I think the government, the information ministry are there to respond, to inform the public. If you come up and say the government is not working, so you expect the information minister come back to say, no, the government working. Probably you're not seeing the way you say. Probably you need to shine your eye. Then you consider that to be an attack. So I don't get it. The game is a game of politics. It should be a game of thick skin, thin skin. You can't say the government, can't come up, especially when you say, you went and said the government, you pray for the government to fail. They expect the government to just sit down and join you to pray? No. So when you say attack, I don't see it that way. The information ministry, the government have not weaponized the media. Know that all under this regime, in less than 2 years, more than 100 radio stations have registered. Most of the radio stations are not government-owned radio stations. They register, they give them lessons. Unlike under the government that Mr. Snow supported, Patrick Ono, whole 6 years, they refused to get a young man license to operate. And during that time, when you're not government official, when you're not government official, you suffer. The people even went, how they call Gafon. The people call UNDP, they threaten UNDP that don't hire Gafwan. They went to Firestone, don't hire Patrick Honor. How can you do that? Today you the ones talking about, really? No. And even just to close up, get a CDC groundbreaking. They got a permit in a short time, within a twinkling of an eye. The government not even drag it, they didn't even waste that. No, they give them the permit to build, to construct. In less than 1 minute, they give it to them. Then you say the government attacking this and that. No. When you say something, you should also be ready to get it, to hear the response. So that's the work of the government.
All right,
they will respond.
So, Tatos.
Yeah.
Fair or foul? Because I know that deputy mayor, that man, he can't hold back. But I think you're a little bit civil today, though, compared to other times. But yeah, was he just trying to put things in their proper perspective by being very yeah.
You don't expect the government when you come up when Tadro come up with certain allocation and pull on government, you expect them to sit and put their hand and pull it between their foot. It will not work. Yourself, you know very well. Even the every snowmen are going today. He said he want for the government to fail.
Right.
That they can come back in power 2029. What you expect from Sino? So the same way, and that time when he come up with that statement, the Kimbo will respond. He got vexed. At the end of the day, he started saying Tabata. Now he come up with the Minister of Education saying. So you don't expect the government to come up with to say, "Oh, we'll put our hands in our foot or between our foot and sit down." I expect the government to respond. And what Daniel Santos said today, even me, I read it. Anyway, he was very polite to them to say, "Oh, this that," but he could have fired more than that.
Oh,
more than that. Yeah, seriously, he was very very polite to them. He would have fired more than them, so at least they will come back in here. Like what people say Daniel Santos can cause. In fact, they take that ministry. They say Ministry of Marcos. I saw them opportunity they want them. Samuel Trust said here on state radio and lateral and say, "Oh, they have left for 27 million LeBron poor people from poverty doing job we had time." He never complained about that. Suno was there. He sat down when 12 came up to 32 million. They say, I don't know, or doing Grenada or more whatsoever. He didn't complain about that. What was the outcome of it? He never say anything. The 25 million, where they use it? He say, "Oh, for the coronavirus to help the citizen, to help to see how bad or the citizen can get something doing." Nothing come out of it. Then only today he came up to say, "Oh, these are some of the things that's going on. I expect Daniel Santos to fire more than that, so that he can come back to his head and say, oh yes, the government will not sit there and lie on them under no condition."
Okay, so thank you very much, Tatos. So if we look at, look, the Liberian political landscape is so easy to dissect, right? Because we know it's a competition of two titans, right? The UP and the CDC. But is it too early to like start with this? I mean, this battle of talk wars between between the opposition and, because I just feel like, bro, we just came out of elections, man. This thing going for 6 years, and we are barely in year. I mean, we almost in year 2. I mean, what's going on? So Morris, so let's talk about opposition a little bit, right? Because it's actually it's I have interest now talking about opposition. And not just any opposition. Let's talk about the vibrant opposition political party, the CDC. Does CDC have any other alternative? Let's say, hypothetically speaking, President John Mahama, we have say, man, the TM Mahana is now. Does CDC have any other alternative? can you see CDC even coming back? Let's say because the thing is, a lot of Liberians are saying that this administration going to do so well that the need for President Manuel Weah coming back will be absolutely out of it. And Weah, as competitive as I know he is, let's say Weah sense any kind of defeat again, I think that will obviously set the stage for Weah to say, you know what, gentlemen, my son already in a French league playing, our president for 6 years, and I'm hungry. And those of you that are behind me, you guys just behind me for my likeness. You know, I mean, do you think President Weah could contemplate on some of those issues? Because even at the groundbreaking ceremony, he looked like someone who was actually forced to go over there. I mean, I'm very good at body language. I can really take a lot of cue from just watching somebody and their look, their non-verbal communication is more that I need than what is actually coming from their mouth. But what is your position on the whole matter, Congress for Democratic Change and a political feature? So inevitably, President George Weah say, "My man, I'm not going."
And this is the internal problem that CDC faced with. Whether they like it or not, this is the internal problem they face with, because they have built the party around George Weah, around one person. So now they have no option but to compare. They have no option but to, to keep pushing George Weah on the people of Liberia. Because you can't have a political party you call a grassroots political party for 20 years. The only name that surfaced in the whole political party that one person, just one person. You can't even dream. You can't even dream about some. When you sleep for 10 hours, you wake up, you can't even dream in your dream to say, okay, besides President Weah, this person. You can't even think about that person. So they have built a party around one person for 20 years. So there's an internal conflict, there's an internal problem they face with. And when you ask whether without George Weah, no, without George Weah, CDC, there will be no CDC. If there will be CDC, it will take time for them to really put themselves together to bring a new CDC, right? Because 2005, CDC brought George Weah came with one man called Rudolph Johnson. Right after the election, they forced the guy out of the party because they found out that the guy was probably he could take over the seat, he could take over Weah, he would become more popular than Weah. They kick him out. 2011, Weah went with Winston Tubman. However, they did it. They said Weah went as running mate. CDC and protested. In fact, some of them refused to vote on account that if they vote, we are going to vice president and not voting for Weah, that Winston Tubman to vote for. Yeah, right after the election. In fact, how can you have an election right after the election? You force your vice presidential running mate out of the party. They drove the man out of the party. The likes of Akara Gray, they said they were all in studio everywhere. We don't want the man. The man are part of us. Thinking that the man stay in the party, he will take over Weah. In 2017, fast forward, they brought Joao Howard Taylor. Even when they took over, when they won the election, within that time, thinking that Joao Howard Taylor become more popular than Weah, they suppressed Joao Howard Taylor. So that has been the CDC tragedy. They build a party around one person. So whatever they do, they will force the men to come outside. Because some of these things that are going on, you don't have to bring Weah in the front. Oh, if CDC was an institution that was already built, it was an institution, you got to be carrying Weah everything. Even when you're having press conference, you got to bring Weah. You're having this, you got to bring Weah.
Yeah.
No, because the party built around one president. So without President Weah, today, there'll be no CDC. They will struggle. There'll be no CDC. And they keep pushing everybody away from the CDC. Soon they realize that somebody's trying to become a little popular, they push you out of the party. So that's the strategy. That's the strategy with CDC. Okay.
All right, Morris. Thank you very much. So Morris is saying once you build institutions around one person, then don't be surprised. And you know what I mean? If that institution failed to stand after that person has decided to take any sabbatical leave, which obviously, I I think, and the thing is, everybody, you can literally just look in the eyes of everybody around President George Manawia. They are all sort of like so enamored with the possibility of he being that, or at least view him as their political survivability kit, right? You know how when you're traveling, people can give you survival kit, where you got like, you got Band-Aid, alcohol, like anything that you need to survive, like a torchlight and all that stuff. So they actually look at President George Manawia to be that guy, to be the guy that would tell him their political career is finished. Do you sense that with all these guys like the Akara Gray, the whatchamacallit, Melvin Cole, no, not Melvin Cole, how do you call this guy, man? Akara Gray, Sekou Carrasco, Fina Bondo, Samuel Twe, including that is how do you call it? Kamaya or whatever his name is?
Kimaya.
Okay, yeah, that guy. And then you look at a guy like how do you call the former
Kimaya is not even sedition.
McGill, then the likes of, right, the likes of do they really see themselves, or at least it's like they go to bed praying to God every day that George Manawia should live long, because that is their umbilical core. President George Manawia is their political umbilical core. So they have to make sure he's cool. Do you sense that with them, Tatos? Let me bring Emmanuel on.
I thought you were not going to bring him. We're going to be plowed today.
Hey, Emmanuel, what's up, man? How are you, man? Good to see you. Yeah, Tatos, do you see those guys then looking at President George Manawia as their survival kit?
Today, CDC, today, tomorrow, when George will leave CDC, there will be no CDC. Maybe the only way they will come back after, it will be something like after 3 to 4 years. You can remember the beginning of this year when George Weah, I think, the beginning of this year, like the end of last year, when George Weah came up and said, before 2029, I will retire from politics. What you hear saying? They never complain. They complain. At the end of the day, they went in their closets, they encourage him. They say, Papa, don't do this thing to us. You need to come back. You need to come back. It takes some time. It takes about 2 to 3 months. The only way George Weah broke silent when he went to the party headquarters, I don't know what. I think they were having some certain program there. That was the time now they were able to convince him when Abraham Gonsi Weah, when the mayor was in the state, when Abraham Gonsi Weah then encouraged him to come back, they say, oh yes, that he keep up with that interview, he started saying all kind of things about Boaké and other stuff. But today, when George Weah leave power, CDC will be gone. There will be no CDC under no condition. Anybody that come up and say, because that's why you can see them when Funadi Kofa, even though the impeachment of Funadi Kofa, it derived from them. When you go into that duty, it derived from the same sedition. See there? So under no condition. But the only thing is that let George Weah come back in 2029, we see. But looking at the George Weah face physically, you see how George Weah dropping? George Weah drop. He lose form. So we were waiting on them to see. But the day George Weah leave power, or the day George Weah leave CDC, there will be no CDC. Ellen left Unity Party. Joe Boaga Kimbo and took over. They said in the first place, they said Joe Boaga a failure. Joe Boaga take on CPP. They say Joe Boaga would able to come on the CPP. He didn't want broke city CPP. Today Joe Boaga the president. Let them leave Joe Weah and then bring someone that will take over that party to see how best they can bring. But not every year, in 20 years, only one person you'll be using. Meaning there is nobody in that party like able to be the standard bearer of that party besides Joe Weah. I give it to you.
All right, thank you very much. Let's get Emmanuel here. Emmanuel, so we're talking about a party built around a single individual. Can that party survive? Let's say if that individual decides to take a sabbatical leave, like just a war. The Mexican man, I say, but yeah, I'm tired of it. Yeah, I'm going. My son playing in France. I'm going to watch my son. You know what I mean? Yeah. Do you see any instance where CDC can actually survive with 10% judgment and we are?
Thank you, Ture. Good evening to everyone on the show. I really don't have interest in that because in Liberia, we don't build institutions, we build people. So when it happens like that, if you look at the history from the 80s, when Doe left the stage, NDPL went down the drain. When Tito left the stage, NPFL and not NPFL, NPP went down the drain. Even the United Party today, the CDC, they are built around individuals. You know, if you are not a wrong individual, if Boaga had left in 2017, if he had agreed to go with Ellen, who do we have at the time that had a touch that are going to stand up to carry United Party? Even today, you know, Jeremiah, who they are looking at, is from a different party. He only went there because of the coalition. So, to answer your question, I don't know whether Judge Weah housing will help CDC. I don't know, but so far as I am seeing it, CDC is Judge Weah. Judge Weah is CDC. Without him, I don't think CDC would be able to be independent. I don't really see it. Maybe things will happen in the future, but that's how the country is. We build our institution around individual and not build the institution around ideology that will bring more people around, that it will stand as an institution by itself. So in my opinion, I don't know if there's anybody in CDC for now. Maybe the person now, we don't know the person yet.
Okay, so thank you very much. So look, guys, I want to do something tonight that we haven't done on the program. I start bringing someone that is engaged in, and our brothers and sisters in the comment section, to you guys can go ahead and writing your recommendation, suggestion. So if I should ask you guys right now to give three things that you believe, upon doing your personal assessment of your country that you love and cherish so much, three things, three areas that you believe when any government, including this government, when they give those three areas their focus point, that you can see Liberia becoming of a different country in the next 10 to 15 years. If I should ask you that question, Maurice, what would be that three things that you, Maurice, will come up with? Three areas.
Well, it's just simple. Look, I've said this many times. We have a country that we don't look at our laws. The laws we have in the country, people say all the time, "Oh, Liberia get one of the best laws," but the laws are old. Our laws are almost like akin, very old. And every countries around the world, they go back to their law and see whether these laws are actually applicable to the current reality. So they make some adjustment. either to make it new or to add something to it, but we have a law that's so just old. So to answer your question, yes. Number one thing, our laws. We need to check our laws. Look, for a country to be, that's why for me, I love people that use power. When you get power, use it. Just use it the right way. Because if you get power, you don't use it, then you don't have power. So our laws would need to, I want government that will come, any government for that matter, let the laws be implemented. Our laws should be implemented for all dimensions. You see today what happened in the country today? When you push it so, they drag it so. You say somebody corrupt, they push it to the court spend 1 year fighting out one this and that. At the end of the day, they say, so the laws in the country are so terrible. We need to look our laws. So number one will be law. Number two will be law. Check our laws. We need to check the rule of law. When I say rule of law, not because
number one is law, number two is laws.
Exactly. Our laws in the country, we need to check our laws. You see, the reason why you say America is great today, because the laws are very strict in the country. As much as you will try to maneuver your way some kind of way, but the laws are very strict in this country. So number one, I go with law. Number two, I go with law. Number three, we need to check our educational system. Educational system is kind of broad, you know. It's broad. When I say education system is broad, we have. Am I still here?
Who do you remember that?
Go, yeah. Go ahead. It was incidental.
Yeah, I thought you took me out, man. So yeah, like I said, number one law. Number two, number three, we need to check our educational system. We have lost. The country have lost its cultural value. That's why today the whole country just like you know, call hey chicken, just running no direction. There's no direction in the country. We don't have no role model in the country. So we just almost like everybody just confused in the country. Everybody just, you know, going their own way. So those are just the three things. If I will have the time to make recommendation, those are the three areas that we can really pay key attention to.
Okay, so let's go to our brother Tatos. Tatos, if someone that ask you, Tatos, as a Liberian, someone who loves their country, they say, Tatos, give us three things that you think if we implement them and be absolutely laser focused in our implementation and intentional about it, that can turn Liberia from this level of mediocrity to prosperity. What would be those three things? What would be those three things focused? I mean, Tatos.
One, the rule of law. The rule of law.
Okay.
Two, the role aspect.
Okay.
Three, the current.
Huh?
Current.
Oh, okay. The electricity. Okay.
Electricity, yeah.
Rule of law. That was the number one. Number two, rules. Yeah, you can get enough of that. And then three, we call it power. So energy. Absolutely. So those will be your three things. How about you, Emmanuel? If someone comes and say, Emmanuel, my man, I know you don't let it talk too much politics. You want sustainable growth, and how we can get to that. What will be the three things, Emmanuel, that you think that can take Liberia from this dungeon of self-inflated harms to self-glorification? What will be your three things, Emmanuel?
Thank you, Trey. Every time I say nothing has changed, people look at it to be an attack on Joseph Boakai. And until we get to understand that indeed nothing has changed, that bro get nowhere. So in my opinion, I have a few things that are listed. Even before today, when I come to the issue, I listed 6 things.
Okay.
Yeah, I listed job, education, health, justice, energy, and communication. But if I should be asked, because the reason I'm saying is that those things that I'm talking about, none of them has changed. 22 years since the bullet in Liberia kept quiet. Since we stopped seeing fashion going against fashion with bullets. 23 years today. So if we stop the wasteful spending, number one, if you ask me, we introduce austerity measure. The government spending should reduce. If we get the money to put the money back in the country. So number one, stop the wasteful spending. Take that money, and what do? You invest it in energy. Because guess what? We may not be able to create our own jobs. But guess what? If we have stable electricity and affordable, that the person can bring a cold storage and they will not spend all the money on energy, they guess what? They will build a bigger factory. And when they build a bigger factory, what happens? They create jobs. So energy, number one, stop the wasteful spending. The government money, we should control our own money. We shouldn't be eating our money. We begin all up for that money. Liberia, we play account from Grand, the mountain are there, worth 12 billion. Wodogisi, worth 18 billion. We got all the money, our people still begging for money. So let's try to control our own money in the first place. One, reduce the wasteful spending. Number two, invest in energy. Number three, spend time on justice. So like somebody come with a company like bro, and you manage to steal from them, the justice system will say, do not say, oh, because you manage that Joe Jackson or that Joseph Boakson, then the Marco A, then that investor cry and go with being in his heart. So when you reduce the wasteful spending, and start growing your reserve, people look at it and say, oh, the country is a responsible country. Then when they come, they got energy, enough electricity that they can use to prosper. Then your justice system is there to defend them. I believe within myself, the country will move forward. Now, if you have this one, the education, the healthcare, everything can follow because you get money in the country. You can use that money to improve your education. You can use that money to improve your healthcare. But without those things, we'll not make it. So that's, like I said, austerity measure to curb the wasteful spending. That's one. Number two, energy. Number three, justice. That's how I see it.
Okay, so our brother Emmanuel is saying the three things that he believes, when we focus on them, will deliver Liberia. Number one, reduce wasteful spending. Two, energy. And three, justice. Justice for all. Brother Davis, welcome. What's going on?
Thank you.
Yeah, so they say when you join wherever you meet up, like people going here, right?
Yeah.
So obviously we know how much you have invested in Liberia and all that stuff. So I'm just asking this question right now. If you were to give, if they were to actually say, Davis, three areas that you believe that any government, including if you are given the opportunity to lead Liberia, three areas that you believe that when you make those three areas your focal point, can have a reverberating, opportunity that could actually transform Liberia from decades of self-inflicted wounds. What would be those three things, David? What would be those three areas that you believe?
To me, there's only one.
You say three, you say one. Hey, Mr. David.
I said to me, there's only one.
But one, three.
Okay. The first and the greatest of all is love Liberia.
Okay, love Liberia. Okay.
Because if you love Liberia, you will not cheat your friend. You will not get the highest salary. You will want everybody to live it the same way you live it. That's love. Love Congo, every other stuff we're talking about. But we don't love Liberia. The second is be patriotic. Are we patriotic? No.
Okay.
Everybody, their self-interest. Everybody want to steal. everybody want to support somebody because they want to get something.
Right.
We're not patriotic. We get a lot of people that say they get degree in Liberia. You see, when it comes to patriotism, somehow I don't like the speaker, right?
Mhm.
But this present speaker is the only speaker that ever teach at the University of Liberia. All the other people, they don't go there. All the degree they get, they don't go there to go teach.
Right.
But that man can leave his work and go teach at the University of Liberia. That's the only speaker ever in the history of Liberia.
Right.
We have former speaker Francis Koba, he's a lawyer. He never go to law school to go teach. They don't want to do it. They are not patriotic. They are only there to get what they're able to get. And still, they don't want to pass it on to other people. That's the part of the patriotic. Everybody talk about politics. This is my party. If my party not in power, I will not enjoy. Unity party. They come to government. They say unity policy, CDC, CDC policy. If you're not citizen, you will never get position. If you're not unity party, you will never get position. We don't love one another. We are not patriotic.
Okay, so your number one will be love Liberia. Then number two will be your number two. Number two will be patriotism. Okay.
Yeah.
How about number three?
Number three, we gotta be gentle with ourselves.
Gentle with ourselves. Okay.
Yeah. If we are gentle, we love and patriotic, Liberia will be sweet for everybody. I'm not going to preach for Joia or Joseph Walker. No, I'm saying something to the country. What is it that we all in white man country cleaning people, but we get people taking $16,000 one person? Then we come to the same white people country, we can't pay them for money. What is it?
Yeah.
Why we don't want to make Liberia sweet? Why we don't want to love our own Liberians? Why we don't want to be patriotic? That's a shame on the country. 1847 up to present. Liberia cannot even produce now. They're not even producing one chicken soup again. They use that chicken soup factory. The chicken soup factory closed. All the former official government, senator, representatives, some of them 18 years, some more years. You know, see them open one factory? All the 16,000 they take per month. One can open one factory for anybody to work. One can bring one investor. But they stay paying them. That's that part that hurting me. I want more made law. And then lawmaker, you contest. You not resign. You contest and they beat you. It means you are being defeated. They will pay you. But they can go pay them. And they on payroll. You know how many times Liberia will own that? You get from all the former lawmakers on payroll. It's wrong. We need to stop to it.
It is wrong. I totally agree with you. So Morris talk about laws, educational system. Emmanuel talk about reduce wasteful spending, energy and justice for all. Tatos talks about rule of law, roles, power, energy, electricity, he said. And then Brother David, love Liberia, patriotism, and urge all of us to be gentle. All right, so look, the reason why I wanted us to have the exercise, because we all come on this platform with our own political views, political persuasion, and we all have different ways, or at least think of ways that we believe that when implemented could be the blueprint to changing Liberia. And between everything you guys said, which are obviously 12 things, combining all three. One thing that came constant, or at least a word that was constant in all of your point was law, rule of law. Rule of law You know, Tatos talk about rule of law, Morris talks about law, and we can just consider justice to be in that space as well. And I totally agree. I think rule of law is key to any developing country, and with a level of intentionality. So my number one will be rule of law. Number two will be intentionality. And number five would be pursuit, right? Because a lot of times we really, like Morris always alludes to, right? Liberia is not scarce when it comes to rule of law, or at least when it comes to having laws on the books. You know what I mean? Like, we got some of the best laws on the books, but where we actually lacking in is implementation, enforcement, and intentionality. I feel like, yeah, you can have all the good laws, but if you're not enforcing it, guess what? All of us here today, with the exception of Brother Tatos, you know, we are in the Western world, and you and I can agree that every morning you wake up to put that key in your ignition, you always looking over your shoulders to see where police could be hiding or something like that on a sidewalk or somewhere down the street. You not see police here, but you already not start thinking about police. That tells you that the people have a very strong laws, and those laws continue to pursue you, whether they are present or somewhere else. But you know your head that is there and is watching you all the time. That's why we behave like the way we behave. We behave as if to say people are watching us when we know very well nobody's even available to do that. So laws, we need to focus on that. The violation that are happening, that will be our last topic, and then we can transition. The issue of illicit mining continue to come up in Liberia, and I would have thought that with everything we endure under former President George Weah, that illicit mining would have been some of the first thing that this government are going to really, wrap their head around. But up to today's day, it's still happening. So, guys, my thing is, do you have a country, or are you pretending to have a country? Because I can almost guarantee you, brothers and sisters that are watching us, you don't have a country when you are not able to protect your territorial integrity. That people can come from Burkina Faso and just jump in your bushes and start mining. So my question to you now, Mr. Brother Davis, and by the way, this thing was brought up by Senator Amakone and the other senator there too. That Bapulu in the place, the people are in those mines digging. So what's up? What's up with that, Brother David? What is your position on that?
One of the major things I look at is that in Liberia, there are set patriot to be patriot to your country. Now, if the government try to enforce that law, people are going to come out of the government witch hunting people. People are trying to get a business name. People are trying to get their living. The only thing they're living on, they will bring all these thoughts. Then other politicians that are not patriotic to the country, they're going to use that against the government, which is wrong. Nobody just sort of go in the bush and start mining. You don't just go mine. It's wrong. By right, you should be protected by government. You should follow the rules that government put down when it comes to mining. What are those rules? They are not there. Everybody go in the bush, They take shovel, they take digger, they carry bag already there, they feed some people, they play them on land. They start digging on the ground or they start doing all kind of things. And they bring foreign national, some senator representatives, they bring foreign national, they go through some kind of mean, some kind of what mean. Some of them can call MOU, I know MOU, all kind of things they can go sign. They finish signing, they mainly go digging without no law, no following the rules and principles of how the Liberia was established. So at the end of the day, they're taking the resources and you're not getting anything. The people are going home. And the people too, the Liberians are there, they are hungry. What happened to them? They sell it for cheaper or nothing. That what happening in the mining sector. You see the people, you go in the forest, you see the Chinese people mining. Some water, then how the people now change it. So chemical. You go in the southeastern region, you see all those things there. I watched a video, I saw the Chinese tractor trailer carrying people. You gotta jump on that trailer before you go. And when you fall down, you don't look behind. It's wrong. In San County area there, the road back. But you see that American with that tractor you running, people jumping on that thing because they gotta go do some labor work before they survive. So this is how we reduce our country to because they're low. We don't even want to believe in any law. But only when it happens to all, we know that there should be a law.
Okay, let me hold you there, bro Davis. Let's come to our brother Tatos. He's waiting like bro. Tatos, oh man, they listen money team, oh man. We talk about the team 100%. We are, you know, that the president giving lesson to a brother-in-law, you know, and a guy of money, all that thing. And President Joseph Boakai, these are some of the things that he campaigned on. You know, that we're going to review all these things, we're going to make sure all that stuff and stuff like that. But the issue still continues to come up, right? And I'm telling you, we were just watching something Bon County last time, someone show, you know, I'm from Bon County, and that brought tears to my heart because when the superintendent was talking about it, like, you know, like this thing is happening, and the people are using chemical, and these chemicals will actually find their ways in waterways, you know. So what is your position on that, Tatos? Is this something of a concern to you or not?
Yeah, it's something that we the Lebanon we have to pay key attention to that because even me, some part of last year, I left Monrovia by 1 a.m. One of our friend father died in a fire. We left from here by 1 a.m. Before we would get to Bapolo, before we would get to Lofa Bridge, it was 4 o'clock. So before getting there was a place that we missed the road where we're going and we enter Pungwa, which is going to Lofa now. You know, my brother, when we enter to that place, I say, what? You can see the mining place like from Kennedy Hotel all the way to Yoruba Junction.
Damn.
Seriously. Seriously. I said, what? If this place ready to even sing, you know how many thousands of human beings would die? People are in the bush mining, some of them did not even get lancing, nothing. You see, and the government really need to fight, very need to fight against those lazy money, because if I were coming be in that capacity, nobody will mind without even maybe probably for me what I desire us. If I in that capacity where Joe Boakai is, nobody will get over and be mining by themselves. The government will sit and mad because these are resources that people are taking care of it. We are not benefiting nothing. If you benefit 300, let's just assume that 300 are US are benefiting $100 liberty. Why benefiting? Are not benefiting. The foreigners are benefiting. They're taking our resources, carrying it. So one of the things that the Minister of Mines and Energy and also the government have to pay key attention, including the lawmakers, the senators, they listen money. Like how some of them say how they will put more inside. The Grand Cape Mount Senator or Simeon Freeman, he have a mining company in Cape Mount. You see that? So some of them don't even pay attention to that. It will be very hard. But if the president can take the action on it, some of us will very be happy. Because when I saw that place, You know, I shed tears today, seriously.
So are you saying? So are you saying some of these lawmakers they have shares?
Oh yes, like Simeon Diller Ingrid came man. He have a mining company there.
All right, let me hold you there, Tatos. Let come to Morris. Morris, my man, this was something that we actually, because I'll tell you, because you and I we've been banging on it in a long time. This is something we talk about during President George Manneh. We had time, and it still continue to be stubborn. What's up? What's going on?
You know, the Ministry of Mines have been on the spotlight for even the days of President Taylor. You know, I think I remember they had Jenkins Dunbar. I think if I'm not mistaken, he was the Minister of Mines under Taylor. Jenkins Dunbar, I think if I'm not mistaken. It was on the spotlight. When Kingdom Madam took over, there was some reform at the ministry. And after some time, again, the same ministry came under the spotlight when Minister using Shano. I know Shano, I think if I get the name right, when using Shano was the minister there. And, you know, fast forward when President Weah took over, again they did some reform, and some of the reform was to put a license under the president, meaning for you to even get a license, a mining license, you have to get it through the office of the president. You know, but again, that was the politics of the day. The president has to approve the office of the president. So when President Boubacar took over, I think they did some reform that power was taken from the president. So now the ministry itself, the ministry can listen without the president approval. I think something like that. You know, it has always been the issue at Ministry of Lands. I don't know the current capacity of the Ministry of Lands, but you see, the Ministry of Lands should have its own staff that posted in every area of the country. And, you know, because the reason all the noise coming out, they got illicit mining, the other play. My question here is that the Ministry of Lands is supposed to have their own. The Ministry of Lands is almost like when you have immigration. Immigration is supposed to be posted almost everywhere in the country, you know, that have Ministry of Lands supposed to be. So when I hear all the noise coming out, the illicit mining, where is the Ministry of, what are they doing? What is their capacity? They don't have people, even if they don't have people in these areas, but with all the noise that are coming up, what are they doing? You know, and I throw it back to the minister, to the senator. Illicit mining going on the places. Have you invited? They say, look, I will invite the superintendent or the person or the company that are doing it. That's your. You are the senator of the county, or probably you are the representative. You have that power to do it. Invite them. Say, look, what is going on here? You guys are mining. What is it? What is that? You can do that. So, like I said, the way our governance system is set up, we all have our work to do to help the governance system. But for us, we just think when they say only the executive is supposed to do it. And sometimes we take all the burdens on the other people and just pull it on one branch. So these are some of the reasons why the country like this. You know, we beat on people for the wrong reason. You know, instead of beating on the right people, we beat on. Look, I'm not trying to say the executive should not. The Lands and Mines is a ministry. Probably they can see all these things that are happening. So when you see these things as a senator, invite whoever that doing that mining, invite them. Say, look, what is going on? What are you? How do you get to, you know, be able to mine? What is going on? And bring on the spotlight. But sometimes they will just come and stand on the floor because of political dividend. Or there's illicit mining going this and that. And sometimes they don't even ask them the hard question. But what did you do? No, so it has always been a problem. I just hope sometimes we put this politics aside and really be able to help our country if, you know, when there's a need for us to do it. And when we have the power to do it, we should all do it.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Let's go to Emmanuel. Emmanuel, my man, look, they say God bless you with resources, and it is incumbent upon you to protect that resources. I've never seen this happen in any other country, bro. Where people can just come in a country and just start mining, bro. I mean, what is going on? And the thing is, like, we're not even talking about all the harm that they are doing to our waterways. We're not talking about our biodiversity. You know, it is mind-boggling, man, that this thing continue to be an issue in Liberia. People talking about Burkina bees in our forests, mining. Like, what is going on, man?
Thank you, Brother Ture. I'll keep seeking this song until we got to know that what we're saying is just what I keep saying. Nothing has changed.
True.
We need these things to change. Like I said, we got 19 ministries. We got over 12 SOEs. Why right now we say what happening in Liberia, we say you can go grant there now. So because can go grant there, which is job properly well under work. What happened to justice? Who is supposed to be responsible for who go into the forest, who get license to go in the forest to do things? What happened to immigration?
Yeah.
What happened to all the other agencies that are supposed to help? You think right now you're thinking about our resources. What land mines and energy doing? Why are we paying the minister? Why is that ministry created for? And we pay him every month. The same way we pay them during Tirota, we pay them during Ellington, we pay them during Jawiyata. That's why we pay them today and nothing coming out. If you say nothing changed, if you say you're causing Joseph Boakai, they pay with you. Just the question you ask. Like I told you, I did geological engineering. So when it comes to resources, Liberia is rich. I'm just telling you, like in Grandjide, the iron ore we get at Jida Mountain, the only nation in the entire world that got a better grade than that particular grade in Grandjide is Australia. As rich as we are. And do you know why? Because the only thing we celebrate is that because we pay road to go Grandjide. So the mean government working. But the people can't take our money. In a year, one company, the money they can take from Liberia is more than the country's budget.
Yeah, I agree.
More than the country's budget. Go see what happened in the Western Cluster. Over 800 million people in the Western Cluster last year alone. Is something happening on George Weah? It happened on Ellen? What was happening on Ellen John Weah campaigning? We're changing. When he came through, he sat eating the food money. Joseph Boakai crying, we're changing. Joseph Boakai came through, he accepted. When we say nothing has changed, you're insulting us. But these are the things we're talking about. We want to see the thing change. You see where you can't go Ghana right now and enter the bush and start digging. You can't go Arab and enter the bush and start digging. You can't go Guinea and do the same thing. You want to see the same thing happening in Liberia.
Can't do it, man.
Why should a Chinese man, when you go in the
Emmanuel, Enopo come through the Burkina Bay and come through Ivory Coast to go together like bro, but they don't do that in Ivory Coast.
No, they don't do that. In Ivory Coast, you must have a paper to walk around. Car this is you got a daily car, and you got a resident car, and you got citizen car. You must have them before you move around in Ivory Coast. The police can be walking around, the immigrant walking around, they will ask you for your card. In Grandjide, my county, the people can be walking around with cutlass in their hand around the country. They say they're protecting themselves. And nobody questioned them. It's what happening in Ellington, it happened in Buyata, it happening in Boakai. Nothing has changed, my people. This is not an insult to Joseph Boakai. Our country would tell our people this thing need to change. The question you asked, Ray, why you think it's still happening? You think that Honor Boakai is happening? You think that Boakai brought Burkina to Labrador?
No.
That Boakai brought the miners that we're talking about today, the legal miner that Boakai brought them?
No.
But why do we still have them?
He's the president.
Why we think we still have them? And that because nothing changed? Yeah. So we shouldn't limit the change that we're talking about. We shouldn't limit it to because we get quarry in Morovia or we get rogue in the Grandjide. That's not the change we're talking about. If we control our resources, my brother, we can build a vibrant nation.
Well,
that
but
everybody
look,
in the
man,
world will admire. The
but
forest we get in Liberia, it can be found anywhere around there. We are rich.
absolutely no, we are
Our
rich.
foreign worth over 60 billion. People begging us. We hear about carbon, we hear about blue carbon. Liberia is the bank. Why should we keep begging people? Today, if Joseph Boy go to China and they give him 10 million, that big thing, we're celebrating it. But that person can come with $500 in their pocket into America. Like Joe, we are brother-in-law. He came with $700. He left with 7 million.
Tell you.
Today, the same thing happening on Joseph Boy. What has changed, my people? It's not an attack on Joseph Boy. We want a system to work for all of us. We shouldn't limit Liberia's progress to light bulb because light bulb shining in Morovia. We shouldn't limit Liberia's progress because I can draft to go Grand G. We shouldn't limit Liberia's progress because we can change, we can buy better rent $5 now. It's not Liberia's progress.
Okay, let me
Nothing
move
has
there.
changed. Until we get to that point, nothing has changed in my opinion.
Let me hold it, Emmanuel. And you're absolutely right. Nothing certainly have changed. So we are 12:06 now. We're just gonna go through our closing. But yeah, look, guys, like I said, it takes patriotic Liberian like us to come here and talk on these issues and really, and hope and pray that someone will be listening to us in government or in high places and do something about these things. But I'm telling you, man, if you cannot protect anything about you, protect your house. Any one of us saying that here, like someone can kind of trespass our living room and will not ask question? No. So that's the same way. Do not allow someone to just come in your country and start digging. Yes. Anyway, that'll be another conversation for another day. We're probably gonna have another time to engage with this conversation. But Burkina Faso, look at Ibrahim Traore. What is it that he's doing over there? And I'm not trying to compare his situation with ours, but just speak volume when you take charge, when you take control of your natural resources, your God-given resources, and make it work for you, and it will work for you. But when you allow anybody to can't put machine on it, that library I can see citizen and say, "Mama, I'm going man." I can see my mama going. No regulation. Just get a generator, get a couple of shovel and peg a red, and go start doing what you gotta do.
Just start digging.
And just start digging, right? Just start digging anywhere. No. Like,
anyway, I come here. Few months ago, one of the largest opposition party in Ghana, one of their lawmakers was arrested for illegal money. A lawmaker in Ghana. The man went in the forest. The government had a reserve forest that they keeping after a certain time before, if the other place dying down before they go to the other place. The man, when he went to if he's a government official. Can we do that in Liberia? Can we arrest anybody who is of that status because they break the law?
No, okay. Absolutely. All right, let's get through our closing. Let's start with bro David. Bro David, let's go through our closing. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, like I base my argument on love. The Bible said it, even Jesus Christ, the disciple asked Jesus Christ, where is the greatest commandment? Jesus Christ told them love. L-O-V is the greatest commandment. Because if you love, you will not kill. You will not steal, you will not murder, you will not cover that neighbor house, you will not do nothing because of love. If we love Liberia, there's no need to get caught. If I love you, too, I love your family the way I love my family. You will never carry me to court. But because there's no love among Liberians, we don't love one another. We hate one another. We are jealous of one another. And we can steal from one another because we don't love each other. This is how the country is going the way it's going. In Grand Chile, you're talking about the Burkina Faso, they never get king, just around the forest. No, they see Grand Chile invited them to come be farm for them.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
They
Brother
never get
Morris.
king by themselves.
Brother Morris, but I'm support you. I was to bring internet. You took 500 acres of land, give it to people for 600,000 for 30 years. That is confusion going on right now.
Wow.
The superintendent of the country sold land.
So the people that you all see down there, I know Grand Chile, they are troublesome people. Nobody will just can say Grand Chile people and I want to. But because they invited them there, the people coming in Liberia, even me, my land. Another one of my friends said, bring the Burkina Faso, you want to get 50-50 for what? Me and Burkina Faso, me, my land, 50-50 for what? They will play my rubber, my cocoa there, then they get 50%, I get 50% for what? Then me, they can't settle now. That's how it's being done.
Of course. Yeah.
Because we don't love this country. If we love, we be patriotic, we will not steal from one another, we will not hate one another, Liberia will be best for everybody. So as money, all Liberian youth that coming up, you start loving each other. You start fighting party politics. It will never help us.
Thank you.
Party politics, preaching party politics, you're not carrying on anywhere.
Thank you, sir.
Are in power. You're not in power. You're enemy. They can call it one another enemy. But me, I'm not enemy to nobody in Liberia. You do the wrong thing, we'll say it.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Morris, let's go to you.
Yeah, sometimes we, like I always said, I think we all love the country. It's just that we dispensing that love or that loyalty for the country in different way. We really need to have an honest conversation around these things, because you see, the reason why I've always said that our laws in the country are so terrible. Every time I had a chance to ask questions, I will always ask regarding our laws. I asked Councillor Gonglo this question, if you can remember, because you see, when we're making comparison to other countries, are you getting me?
I'm getting you. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah. When we're making comparison to other countries, we have to ask the question: what are the laws in those countries, and what are the laws that we have in our country? Our laws in the country are so terrible. And I've always said this: when the laws are bad, for the most part, the people that benefit for the laws are those in power. Say, for instance, you have a country. They say the president corrupt, or the president not corrupt. The president trying to fight corruption. He catch one person today. In Liberia, by the time they say one person corrupt, that person become popular. They celebrate in the countries that are corrupt people. By the time they say one person corrupt, that person becomes celebrate, become popular. You carry the person to the court. You have a code that say that will be dragging. So the laws need to be changed, regardless of how we have this conversation. Everything I was saying, the other one, all bow down to the laws. We need to look at our laws. That I wanted for the million men to go, but you wanted me to come because you were in Liberia. But anyway, we need to look at our laws, and that's why we need to have the conversation, the honest conversation, because it's sometimes we'll beat the dead horse. Because if you keep beating on the dead horse, the horse already dead. We have to first see where is the problem. Where does the problem lies in the country? Because the laws in America, like I said, the reason why this country is great because the laws are strong. As much as they can try to play around the law, but for the most part, the laws are strong in this country. So we need to look at our laws. When our laws are strengthened, our laws are adjusted, we can make progress. Other than that, it will just be like circle, be running in circle until different person will be running in circle, just like that. So we need to look at our laws. We need to blow the horn so that our laws can be looked at, so that most of the things can be changed. Okay.
All right, Morris, thank you very much. Let's go to Emmanuel. Yeah, you're closing, bro.
Oh, okay, gentlemen. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. This kind of conversation we need to be having. I always told people that President Boakai, President Weah, President Salif, those people, they have arrived. We shouldn't kill ourselves for them. What we should be killing ourselves for, literally, not like, practically.
Right.
What we should be killing ourselves for is what will make Labrador better. So my people, these are things we'll be talking about. how can we make Liberia like the country where we don't have to come to America to live a better life. We're poor in Liberia for a reason. So let us fight to make Liberia better. And I think the conversation like this will be good. Thank you for having me tonight. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you very much. See you tomorrow, Bro Emmanuel. Thank you for your time as well. Morris, thank you very much. I want to say thank you to Brother Davis. I want to say thank you to Tatos. I want to say thank you to all of our followers, Fix Electronics 4769, William Jala 5122. We want to say thank you to Lynn Lakbo, and the rest of the crew, those that are following us on YouTube as well. I want to say thank you guys for following us and commenting and keeping us up, because it's through your comments that really an engagement with us that keeps all of us going. And we want to say thank you for that. Continue sharing the show and continue inviting people to join as well. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Same place, same time. Bye for now.